Welcome to Catherine's Conversations in the Country. I'm Catherine Lane, and we are indeed in the country. Are we not, Melanie?
We are in the country. Look at the bonfire.
Yeah, look at the bonfire. I wanted to do my series out here because this is where I live. This is my home. This is where my grandson spent a lot of his time and loved spending time out here, and started this series in his honor. He lost his battle with mental health on March 20th of 2023. So I am hoping that through this series, we're going to help you if you are struggling with any kind of mental health issue, if you're struggling with your relationships, with your job. Life is hard, Melany
It
Myers.
is hard. Adulting is way overrated.
Yes,
Don't recommend it. 0 stars.
exactly. This is Melany Myers. I'm sure you all know who she is. She is a legendary radio personality in the Charlotte area and a good buddy of mine. So thank you for schlepping it all the way out to Clovis.
Thank you for having me. You're so sweet. I love you.
I'll love you right back. So, Melany, we have talked a little bit about some different things going on in your life. And today I want to touch on your health battles and how you have survived those. All this month, we're talking about survival. And when I thought about people who survived so many things, Melany has, and you just keep on coming back.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure how. I'll be honest with you. I think that someone is watching over me because I technically shouldn't be here. I've had a couple of brushes, with some serious illnesses. The last couple of years have been really hard. COVID hit. And right when COVID hit, I got diagnosed with another autoimmune disorder. And I have a lot of arthritic issues. And, as you get older, you have those. But
And
these
breast
are,
cancer.
yeah, and these are more
Yes.
severe. But before I got breast cancer, I had some neck issues. And I knew I had herniated disc, but what happened was they were on top of my spine. I was falling a lot, and one day I got out of bed and went head first into the floor and went and saw 2 different surgeons, and they both said, if you don't have surgery, you're going to be paralyzed permanently from the neck down.
Whoa.
So I thought, all right. So I had surgery a couple weeks later. Amazing surgeon. Got through it. He's like, you're going to be out of work 2-3 months. I'm like, I'm going back in a month.
Mm-hmm.
Was doing great, then was not. Had a lot of pain, was dealing with something I didn't know what was, going on back there. Long story short, I had a staph infection
Oh,
that had moved into my arm because I let it go for a week or so. I have a relatively high tolerance for pain, and my doctor said that did not do you any good. Had to have an emergency surgery, a second one. Got through that, was on antibiotics for a year with that one.
And let me stop you there too, because not only were you in physical pain, but mentally this had to have been taxing.
Yeah, the depression was very hard. I had a PICC line in when I first came home for 6 weeks. I had to be out of work for 3 months. And, I was on antibiotics, hardcore antibiotics.
Because chronic pain is a trigger for people, especially if they've experienced depression before.
Yeah, and I'd still deal with that,
Yeah.
with the pain stuff. When my friends say, hey, let's go do this, sometimes it's not that I don't want to do it, it's just that I physically cannot do. I'm just exhausted. But I got through all that, and I went back to work, and I was all excited. And I was back at work for about 4 months, and then got diagnosed with breast cancer.
I remember that.
And it doesn't run in my family. I don't, it was just
Did you know it from a routine mammogram? or-
mammogram, and I'm a big, supporter and proponent of mammograms. It's one of those appointments that I was like, oh yeah, I got to do that. Do it, please.
Yeah.
I didn't feel anything. I felt fine, but had cancer. So I had a partial lumpectomy, got the tumor out. They had to take out a couple of lymph nodes underneath my arm. And because they caught it early, I didn't have to go through chemo. So that was cool. But I did go through radiation. But all of this was like in a 2-year span. The next stuff, it was just
So much.
crammed. Yeah. And I think I still deal with some of that depression. I think that there are some days I'm just, because, I gained a lot of weight, because if you have the type of cancer I had, you can't take any kind of hormones once you start going through the change and all that. So you just got to deal with it. And I had to be away from people for so long. You just kind of get comfortable in your own home eating Ben and Jerry's. So,
Right.
there's
Yes.
a lot of stuff that happened. But, I got very lucky and made it through, and they caught it early. So,
That's amazing.
again, make sure you schedule that appointment and get that mammogram, please. It can save your life.
So if people have questions about breast cancer, about cancer in general, do you trust the American Cancer Society for questions
Absolutely.
answered?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the thing about, I think, with especially breast cancer, there were so many women that reached out to me that I do not know, that have gone through the same thing that I've gone through. And I have tried to, keep that going and to give and to, pay it forward. So there are some people on my Facebook page that I don't necessarily know, but that have dealt with breast cancer. So I've reached out to them. Hey, do you need anything? Do you need a ride? Do you need somebody to go with you? Hold your hand, because it's a scary experience.
When you get the diagnosis, breast cancer, what's the first thing that popped in your mind?
When you hear that, your mind just kind of starts going on its own. And you're sitting there, at least for me, and the doctor's talking, and you don't really hear what they're saying because all you heard was breast cancer.
Right.
I remember, and it's kind of funny, I had to tell my mom, and she had gone through all the next stuff with me and all that. I said, Mom, I have breast cancer. She goes, no.
I refuse.
Yeah, I said, Mom. And I said it again, and she goes, no. I go, I'm not asking you if you want dessert after dinner. I'm telling you. And it was hard for her as well. But, the support system is great. I had amazing doctors. And again, I just got lucky because they caught it very early.
Because of that mammogram.
Yeah, I just got very, very lucky. And just had one a couple weeks ago. So it's my third year. I'm clean. Everything's good. High five. And I'm doing well. I'm doing all right.
So glad, Melany.
Thank you.
And then you've dealt with this. You've had other health problems in the past. You always get up and keep going.
I think, sometimes it's just what you have to do. Rest when you need to rest. You can't do everything that you want to do.
Be easy on yourself.
Yeah, I think what was really hard for me was I'm not the same person as I was 10 years ago. I can't, do all the things I was doing, doing a lot of kickboxing and kettlebells and all this stuff. And that stinks. Getting over not being able to do the stuff you really want to do. That being said, I'm not out yet. I just bought a foam, kind of a baby heavy bag. I'm still going to give it a shot, despite what my doctor says. But, it's just, you just have to kind of rearrange your priorities in life. Going out and doing this, that, and the other, not always is what's best for me. So I don't do that. And you just kind of have to get used to a different lifestyle. It's not easy. It can be hard.
Yeah.
But you just kind of have to
switch your mind a little bit.
Yeah. And listen to your body and listen, to what it's saying and do what's best for you.
But you can get through it.
Absolutely.
All right, Melany, I'm glad you have.
Thank you.
And I love you.
I love you too.
All right. And y'all be well.